Sampurita pamita paramita balena Vindvansiyo kila kilesa Samola jalan Teneva landa arham Arahoti namang Vandami buddha mamalam Hadaye tapentva Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devatam Sandhammang munirajassa sunanto sagga mokkadam Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Gabbameke uppanjanti nirayang papakamino Saggang sugatino yanti parinibbanti anasava Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I am going to discuss about right understanding. Right understanding for liberation. What kind of liberation that Buddha has explained? What is the freedom? What is the liberation that we have to achieve? Liberation or freedom from suffering. Liberation from suffering depends on how far we have reduced our defilements, negative emotions, unwholesome emotions in our mind. Especially, all negative emotions can be included into three. They are desire, anger, and delusion or ignorance. These are the main defilements or unwholesome emotions which disturb our peace of mind. If we can gradually reduce these defilements, it means gradually our happiness increases. If our mind is polluted with negative emotions, it means we have lost our happiness. Some people think that their happiness depends on if they are well educated. When they are very rich, they may think that they are successful, they are happy. But actually, our happiness completely depends on how far we have reduced our defilements or negative emotions from our mind. That is why Buddha always has recommended the importance of reducing negative emotions. For that, from the beginning to end, we have to develop, cultivate our right understanding, right view, or correct vision, what we practice, where we are going to. We should have clear knowledge, clear vision from the beginning to end on the path of liberation, on the path of purification. That is very important. Day by day, when we listening to what Buddha taught, we gradually develop our knowledge about the path of liberation. Okay, according to Buddhism, for the right understanding, according to Buddha's language in Pali, it says Sammaditthi. Sammaditthi in Pali, right understanding or right vision or correct view. For the right understanding, we have to fulfill both of them. Can you remember? I think I have explained it before. There are both reasons which helps us to increase our right understanding. One of them is listening to what Buddha taught. Knowledge. Listening to what Buddha taught. Listening to what Buddha taught. That is the very first thing which helps us to increase our right understanding. Not only listening to, when we listening to what Buddha taught, we should have clear attention, good attention. We have to pay our attention what Buddha has explained. That is very important. The other thing is wise reflection. Wise reflection means we have to reflect on according to what we listen. Sometimes people listening to what Buddha taught a lot when we are in the temples, but after they stand up, they lose everything. They have nothing in their mind. Then they are like the common people, ordinary people. They have no difference because they don't reflect on it. Before we practice, we have to reflect on it again and again. Before we reflect on it, we should pay our attention what Buddha explained. That is very important. These both reasons are beneficial for right understanding. What they are? Dhamma savana. In Pali language it says Dhamma savana. Dhamma means the Buddha's teachings. Savana means hearing, listening to. Listening to what Buddha said. That is one of them. The second one, according to what we listening, what we heard, we have to reflect on it again and again. Why do we need to listen to what Buddha taught? What is the need? What is the necessity of listening to this message? You know, we usually listening the common thing, the ordinary thing, the conventional truth in the world. You know, in Buddha's time, Reverend Sariputta was the wise person. Even Sariputta couldn't realize this truth by himself. This truth should be listening to from a Buddha or Buddha's disciple or who listening to this message. And without meeting a Buddha or his disciple or any other person who asked this message from a noble person, we can never achieve this right understanding by ourselves. You know, according to Buddhism, there are both ways how we achieve enlightenment. One of them is, there are some persons who realized the path by themselves and they attain enlightenment. They are the Buddhas or Pacceka Buddha. There are both persons. Pacceka Buddha is another Buddha. There were many people in the same time, same period, same time. But Samma Sambuddha is only one person in one time. Both of them realized the path by themselves. When they realize the truth, they may have some mistakes because they have no clear understanding about the path. They are researching. They do research. And sometimes they have mistake and they change their path again and again, going here and there. However, finally they realize the truth, the path, and they practice and they achieve the results. This is the one of the way some people achieve enlightenment. We also can achieve that achievement, but it is not in this period. This is the Buddha's period. It means we have to listen to this message from a Buddha or from a disciple or from a noble person. The second way that as the followers, as the disciples of the Buddhas, first of all, we have clear knowledge. We have the map. We have GPS. First we have the address. Then we directly go to the destination. But these persons, Pacceka Buddhas and Arahantas, they go here and there. Finally they realize the destination. Even a very wise person can't realize by himself this path without listening to others in this time, Buddha's time. That is why we have to listen to this message. Then not only listening to what Buddha said, we have to reflect on it again and again in our day-to-day life. We have to realize it by ourselves. And also, these both reasons are very useful for right understanding. What they are? Listening and wise reflection or wise investigation. In Buddha's language, in Pali it says, Dhamma Savana and Yoniso Manasikara. What they are? Dhamma Savana, Yoniso Manasikara. Dhamma Savana means listening to Buddha's message. Yoniso Manasikara means reflect on it again and again. And with the right understanding, we may have both ways, both paths. What they are? One of them is heavenly path. Heavenly path. That is the first path that Buddha has explained. At the very beginning, he has explained another way, that the hell path, how we go to the hell. Buddha has rejected that way, but he has pointed out, if you do these things with polluted mind, you may fall down. You may fall down. You may fall down to hell realm. It is rejected. Actually, most of people in the world, although they are well educated or well rich, most of human beings, after they die, actually they usually go to the down realms. But sometimes you may not believe, because day by day the human beings increase. But the reason is, other higher realm beings gradually come to the down level. That is one of the reasons. On the other hand, sometimes, in the history, there were more people than today we have. Yes.
On this earth?
In this earth.
More people than
today. Because, there are some histories, like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, like this, there are very ancient cultures, ancient histories. Even Sri Lanka, when it is a very special Anuradhapura period, there is a very special period that like Buddha appeared in the world. In that period, there were more people than today we have. In this world, it is common. By time to time, it changed. By natural disasters, some wars or fightings, sometimes people going to down level or upper level. It changed by time to time. But gradually, in the earth as human beings, we have only 7 billion. 7 billion is not a big population. Anytime it can be changed by a natural disaster or by a nuclear war, in a battlefield. Anyway, it can be changed suddenly. However, first of all, Buddha said, if you do something physically, mentally or verbally with polluted mind, it causes you to go to down level, hell realm. Therefore, don't do those things. If you do, this is the way that you have to go. That is the first thing. That is the big challenge in front of us. According to Buddhism, there are 3 major challenges that we have to face in our life. We can't change them. It is very difficult to change. We can't change. We can change. We are able to change, but it is difficult. One of them is old age. Day by day, we are going to old ages. That is one of the challenges we face in our day-to-day life. The second challenge that we have is death. The third one, rebirth. Not only rebirth, but the ability to go to down realms is one of the biggest challenges that we have. If we are clever, we can overcome. Now, when we go into old age, we think, I am going to old age, then we are sad. Because now we have got our body as my mind, myself. But if we can completely change our attitude, right understanding, by practicing samatha, tranquility meditation, and vipassana, insight meditation, then we can overcome self-view. Self-view is the biggest wrong thing in our life. If we can change our attitude, reducing wrong view, self-concept, then it is very useful to overcome suffering. Suffering means when we are growing up in our old age, we suffer. Because when we go to the mirror, we are sad. Because we think, I am now old. But when Arahant, when he goes to old age, he doesn't take his body as mine, as mine. Then he has overcome suffering. When he dies, he doesn't think that now I am going to die. He thinks only the natural thing. He considers this death as a natural thing, like a tree is going to down. The other thing, the ability to go to lower realms, such as animal realms, hungry ghost realms, those are the hells that Buddha has explained. Now, we can see the animal realms. But we can see other realms. But at the very beginning, we are confident in these teachings by listening to what Buddha said. And the one thing, the first step that we should develop as the followers of the Buddha, we should have clear knowledge what is the path of heaven, heavenly path. It includes not only heavenly realm, but it includes the human realms too. Going to be reborn in human realms or heavenly realms. That is one of the paths that Buddha has explained. What are the karmas? What are the actions? What are the deeds that we have to practice to be reborn in heavenly realm or human realms? Especially, Buddhism has recommended the 3 meritorious deeds. What they are? We mostly discuss the 3 meritorious deeds. Dana, generosity, Sila, morality, and Bhavana, meditation. These 3 things are useful to go to heaven realm or human realm. Actually, when we practice these kind of meritorious deeds, the benefits are not only hereafter. We can see the benefits in this short life itself. When we practice these merits, it means our mind is very pure and calm. We have no defilements, we have no negative feelings, emotions in our mind when we practice merits. Always we are ready to offer something to others. Always we practice meditation, especially loving kindness meditation. We have no anger. We are not angry. We are friendly with everybody always. On the other hand, by practicing meditation, again and again, we try to develop our good emotions, right emotions, wholesome feelings. By practicing these 3 meritorious deeds, we clean the path of heavenly realm or human realm. You know, there are a lot of people in the world. Everybody, all people can't achieve enlightenment in this life. That is why, first of all, Buddha has explained the first step, that going to the human realm or heaven realm. That is our real security, real insurance. By having this first security or insurance, then we can go to the next level. You know, some people, when they are struggling, when they are arguing, they don't practice anything. Always they argue. When somebody, you know, there are some people, when they listening to Buddha's teachings, always they argue. They have a lot of doubts. But they are not ready to practice anything, even 5 precepts. They don't practice. How they achieve the good lives? Therefore, first of all, we should have some kind of confidence in what Buddha taught. If always we are going to argue or reject something, we have nothing to practice. You know, when we go on the path little by little, the path will be clear. Therefore, at the very beginning, if we don't practice it, we can't see the benefits. Therefore, we have to practice little by little. For example, when you go to a place, whenever you didn't go yet, then if you have only map or address, if you don't drive, you can reach the destination. Although you argue, it is useless. having that address or GPA, you have to drive little by little. Then you can see the junctions, some buildings, some cities, and finally you can reach the destination. This path also like that. If we are going to argue at the very beginning, we have nothing. Therefore, little by little, at least we should try to practice loving kindness at least 5 minutes for a day. Then, we can purify our mind from negative thoughts such as ill will and anger. Then, little by little, we can see the results. This is the first step, the benefits are not only hereafter in the human life or heavenly realm, but, in this very short life, we can see the results when we are friendly, when we help others, when we practice generosity, when we have good discipline in our speech and behavior. Actually, we can see the results. Then we can be happy in this life by practicing these kind of meritorious deeds in our day-to-day life. After that, Buddha has explained the next step. In this level, sometimes we have some misunderstanding. Such as, when we see the next birth, we may think that there are certain things goes from here to there. Sometimes they may think that some kind of ego thing as certain, but it is not the big grown thing, but it is also some kind of misunderstanding. But it doesn't cause to go to hell. Because he practices good deeds, he can achieve good life, even though he thinks everything as certain. Even though he doesn't believe in permanence, because of practicing good deeds, he can achieve human realm or heavenly realm. Not only heavenly realm, but some people can achieve the Brahma realms too, because of some kind of spiritual developments. But still they have some kind of misunderstanding in their minds. In this second level, we have to clear that misunderstanding. In this level, most of people in the world, they think they have a little bit mistake. What is that mistake? They may think that before I was born here, there was a world. After I will die, the world remains. We also have this concept, this misconcept. Actually, it is true, but it is true only in conventional truth. According to ultimate truth, it is not true. According to conventional truth, before we were born in the world, there was a world. After we will die, the world remains. According to conventional truth, all teachings, all scientists, all religious people, all religious leaders, actually they explain everything depending on conventional truth. Be sure, only Buddhism that explains the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth? The world arises when we born. It doesn't sound that in our birthday. Every moment, in this moment, when we open eyes, the world arises. When we hear something, that world arises. Suddenly, it ceases. Every moment we create the world through our senses. By every moment, again and again, we create the world, not only creating, but suddenly, naturally, it ceases. It doesn't come to the present from the past. It doesn't go to the future from the present. At the moment, the experience arises and ceases. If we can see this reality, actually gradually we can overcome desire or craving and anger or ill will. These are the extremes. Because of ignorance of impermanence, we mostly suffer because of desire and anger. These are the extremes. Gradually, when we are going to understand this arising and ceasing, we are going to be neutral. It doesn't sound we are so lazy. We do nothing. Actually, we are so active than other people who have no this understanding. Some Arahantas, even Buddha, slept only 3 hours, less than 3 hours per day. They worked a lot than other people didn't, who had no this understanding. They are so active after this experience because they are hurried to give this knowledge to other people to save them from some lower elements. They are so kind to protect, save others by the achieving this enlightenment. However, this is the first path that Buddha has explained, the heavenly path. How we come back to the human world or how we become the heavenly realms. This is the first path. For that we have to avoid evils, negative deeds, and we have to practice good deeds in our day-to-day life. The results are not only next life, but in this short life, we can see the results. As we mentioned before always, actually practicing merit means decorating our mind. We decorate our mind by practicing generosity, morality, and meditation. Actually, we do a lot of things to decorate our clothes, our body, our house, our vehicle. But the real decoration is that decorating our mind by practice good deeds, unwholesome deeds in our day-to-day life. The second step that Buddha explained, the enlightenment path, the liberation, how we achieve the final destination, enlightenment, arhanship, and freedom, and enlightenment path. Enlightenment path. Enlightenment path means the path that leads to get rid of suffering completely. For that, in this level, it is okay even though we have conventional truth, it is okay. It is not a big disturbance to achieve heavenly realm. But in this level, it is not, we should have not only conventional truth, we should have clear knowledge about the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth depends on the dependent origination or impermanence. What is the dependent origination? It is the unique in Buddhism. Nowhere we can see this truth. When conditions arise, when conditions are together, we have some kind of experience through our senses. We have 6 senses, like eyes, ear, nose, these are the senses. When we open our eyes, when there are lights, when we have attention, when we have consciousness, when all things are together, we can see a picture, we can see forms or matter. Then even one reason is not here, we can experience. Although there are a lot of lights or something, if we close our eyes, we can see the forms or matter. Although all things are here, if we have no attention, if I think about somebody who has blamed me, I can see the beauty Then attention also very important. According to Buddhism, there are 5 things arise at the moment when we have some kind of experience through our senses at the moment. It suddenly arises, quickly it ceases. But because of ignorance, after experience, we still think that the experience is still happening. That is the nature of ignorance or delusion. By listening Dhamma, by wise reflection, by practicing Samatha and Vipassana meditations, we gradually reduce this delusion or ignorance. Then, first of all, we should have clear knowledge about this system. Actually, this is a system. This is not a creation of the Buddha. This is the discovery of the Buddha. Buddha said very clearly, whether a Buddha appears or not in the world, this truth is forever. This is Buddha's discovery. This is not his creation, like, the God has created the world. This is not the creation. Buddha said, nobody can create the world. It depends on the dependent origination, cause and effect. And if we don't have this understanding, actually all of us are in this circle. We are going here and there in this circle. By listening to this message and by practicing, we gradually try to go away from this circle. This circle is hell realms, human realm, heavenly realms, Brahma realms. All things are in this circle. Buddha has advised us to how we go away from this circle. We were born. Why were we born? We were born not to be reborn in this Buddha's period. That is why we are here. That is why we are listening to what Buddha taught. Okay? Then, for this understanding, there is a very special discourse in Buddhism, in Anguttara Nikaya. It says, Abhiññā Sutta. Actually, already I have explained you it sometimes, but however, here also I am going to explain that sutta. It is very important. It is like a summary, what we practice, what we realize. According to that, we have to do 4 things. One of them is comprehension. One of them is getting rid of. One of them is developing. The other thing is achieving. According to Buddha, we have to do 4 things. What they are? The first thing that should be comprehended with supernormal knowledge is the 5 aggregates. We have to realize, we have to understand, we have to comprehend 5 things. Those are 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates means form, feeling, perception, mental formation and consciousness. Actually, these 5 things are together. We can divide them. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we have experience through our senses with anything, it sounds that these 5 things arise together. Not only arise, suddenly it ceases. Actually, in the world, we can divide these 5 things in a plate. We have to understand these things in our mind, by our understanding. When we prepare something, some tea or some milk or something, sugar, all things are in the cup. Water, sugar, milk, coffee, all things are together. But we can see milk powder or tea. We can separate coffee or tea. We can separate sugar. We can separate water. All of them are together. When we see something, these five things are like that. But by knowledge, by wisdom, we understand, by intelligence, when we see a coffee or milk coffee, suddenly we know the ingredients. How we know it? By intelligence, by our wisdom, by our knowledge, understanding. But it is sure we know very well. But it cannot be divided. Our understanding also should be like that. The first thing, actually, if we want to understand, if we want to comprehend, that only one thing according to Buddhism. We have to understand only these five aggregates. If we can understand these five aggregates, it means we are ready to understand the entire world, physically and mentally. These are the ingredients. Adangudeva. These are the ingredients that we receive through our senses, through our six senses. Without these five things, we have nothing. Little by little, we have to develop our knowledge about these five things. Okay, now we explain it in short. Okay. The second one, Buddha says, actually we have understand is with supernormal knowledge. Why it says supernormal knowledge? We have normal knowledge. Because of normal understanding knowledge, we think that before we were born, there was a world. After we die, the world remains. It is the normal knowledge. But here, we are going to understand these five aggregates. Supernormal knowledge. What is the supernormal knowledge? The understanding of impermanence. The understanding of the dependent origination. The understanding of cause and effect. Every moment arises and ceases. Not being occurred, come to be occurrence. Then it doesn't go to future. This is the nature of our experience. If we can keep our full attention, awareness, mindfulness with this understanding at that moment, be sure we have overcome suffering, because we have no desire, we have no anger, we have no any delusion. That is the first thing according to Abhinya Sutta. There are a lot of teachings in Buddhism how we realize these five aggregates. There are hundreds of discourses, sermons that Buddha has given how we understand these five aggregates. The second one, when we have this understanding with supernormal knowledge, we have to overcome, we are ready to overcome both things. There are two things which should be reduced. What they are? They are, in Buddha's language, it says, avijja bhavatanha. Avijja means ignorance. Bhavatanha means desire or craving or covetousness. Lust. Then, if we have this understanding ceasing and arising, gradually we are ready to decrease, we are ready to reduce ignorance and the big attachment, desire or craving. If we want to reduce, if we want to overcome, if we want to get rid of, actually we have to do only two things. They are ignorance and desire. Why it is not here anger or ill will? There are only both things, only two things. Why it is not here anger, Mr. David?
Maybe because those are results of desire.
Very good, very good. Desire and anger is the both sides of the same coin. When we remove desire, we remove not only desire but also anger too. There are some people, they say that actually I have no any attachment, but sometimes I get angry. It is true? According to Buddhism, it is not true. If you are angry, it means, on the other hand, you have some kind of big attachment. When you are angry with your children, when they have mistakes, when they fail their exams, you get angry. Why you get angry? In the other house, children are failed. You are not get angry. Yes, your children, you have a big attachment with your children. That is why you get angry. They are unsuccessful.
So should parents not be attached to their children?
Actually, attachment, we can do our duties. If we have understanding, without attachment, we can fulfill our duties and responsibilities. That is why Buddha has recommended, that is the thing Buddha has said us. Now, when we help our children, we want a return. We accept, we hope a return. But if we have this understanding, we fulfill our duties. We take care of our children, but we do it as a duty, as a responsibility. But we have no big attachment. We have no big hopes. But it doesn't sound we don't fulfill our duties. Actually, we do our duties more than other people do, who have no this understanding. But when they are unsuccessful, we don't get angry if we have this understanding. Because we have the knowledge of karmic law. Although we help them, if they don't have enough karmic results, although we help them, sometimes they may not be successful. Because of knowledge, because of this understanding, we don't get angry when they are unsuccessful. On the other hand, when they are more successful, we have no big enjoyment. We are neutral. We know very well, one day they go away from us. Forever we can keep them near us. They are the other beings, although they were born from our womb. Actually, they are other beings. They are living by their karmic results, although they are our children. But we do our duties very well than other people do. But after we do our duties, we don't hope results, so we don't hope returns. Okay,
and don't expect anything from them.
Yes, we, when we are taking care of our children, we look other children like those people. We are ready to help other people to other children to simultaneously we are taking care of our children. In Buddha's period, when Buddha was living, there were some disciples who had achieved some kind of spiritual levels. There are 4 steps of enlightenment: Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat. There are 4 steps. The very first step, they live in the future only 7 lives. Among 7 lives, they will complete their enlightenment. Even some Sotapanna or first level disciples, actually they have got married. After they got married, they had children. They fed their children. They took care of their children. But they did their duties. But they did not get angry or big attachment while they were protecting, they were taking care of their children. Actually, I have given an example, I think last week or before last week, about the Bandula Mallika's character. There was a lady who was the wife of an army commander in Buddha's period when Buddha was living. Then one day he was offering dana to the monks. She received a message from a minister. Her husband was an army commander in king's, army. He was the main commander. Her husband was the main commander. And not only her husband, but in Buddhist history it says that she had more than 16 sons. Actually, all of them were in a battlefield when he was offering dana to the monks. She received a message and she read that message and put it in her clothes. Again, she was offering dana to monks. Meanwhile, from a servant, a plate was broken. Plate was broken. At that moment, Venerable Sariputta also was there. Reverend Sariputta was the Buddha's one of the chief disciples. Reverend Sariputta told that Bandula Mallika, don't worry about breaking this plate. At that moment, what did she say? She showed that message. Bhante, I don't worry about breaking this plate. I have a very big trouble at the moment. My husband and my all sons were killed in the battlefield at the moment. That Bandula Mallika actually had become the first level of enlightenment, Sotapanna. Not only having that enlightenment step, but at the moment she faced that trouble with consciousness, with mindfulness, with awareness. That is why she could overcome suffering. Then, while we are taking care of our children, while we are helping our relatives, actually if we have this understanding and if we practice it in our day-to-day life, actually we are ready to overcome suffering as much as we have understanding and practicing and achieving some kind of steps of spiritual development. However, if somebody wants to overcome, actually we have to overcome only two things. We have to get rid of only two things, ignorance and desire. When we remove desire, as much as we decrease desire, the anger also gradually decreases. The third one, Buddha said, the next one that should be developed with supernormal knowledge is tranquility and insight meditation. If you want to practice, actually although there are a lot of teachings in Buddhism, finally we have to practice only two, samatha and vipassana, mindfulness and wisdom. By practicing tranquility meditation, we keep our full attention at the moment, in the present moment. Gradually, we trained our mind to live at the moment, in the present moment. On the other hand, with concentrated mind, we always focus on impermanence, arising and ceasing. Gradually, we increase this attitude, this awareness, mindfulness and wisdom. These are that we have to only practice. And mindfulness and wisdom. On the other hand, tranquility meditation and insight meditation. Tranquility meditation means we focus our mind with a particular object with a meditation technique. Keeping our mind at the moment with mindfulness. And insight meditation means we focus on impermanence, arising and ceasing. Every moment our experience that we get through our six senses, every moment it arises and ceases. If we can see this reality, gradually our ignorance and desire are overcome. Finally, the fourth thing we should not practice. As the result of practicing tranquility and insight meditation, we are ready to achieve the both steps, both results. They are, what they are? Vijja, Vimukti. Vijja means wisdom. Vimukti means liberation or freedom. If our mind is completely on the knowledge of impermanence, then we are free from suffering. If we have wisdom or intelligence about arising and ceasing, about five aggregates, on the other hand, as much as we have wisdom, on the other hand, we have liberation or freedom or getting rid of suffering. Those are the results as the practicing of tranquility and insight meditation. This is the path that Buddha has explained us very kindly to practice in this short life. Our life is so valuable. It is priceless. Buddha always encourages us to get the results from your life. As the intelligent persons, this is the only duty that we should do while we are doing other things. Actually, although we have a lot of things to do in this life, studying, doing jobs, doing our responsibilities for our relatives and friends and government, our main goal should be developing our spiritual. It is our main purpose in our life as an intelligent person. That is why Buddha always encouraged us to not to do evil and practice good deeds and purify your mind. Not to do evil, practice good and purify one's mind. And every moment we try to develop good deeds through our life, and on the other hand, we try to purify our mind from negative thoughts. You know, at the very beginning to reduce desire, we offer something to others. And also to reduce anger, we practice loving kindness. But it is not the final solution. If we want to overcome desire and anger, we have to see the impermanence arising and ceasing. That is the final solution. You know, there were some persons even when Buddha was living in other religious traditions, actually they have reduced their desire and anger for a long time, but it can come again. If somebody wants to decrease desire and anger completely, he has to understand the impermanence and he has to practice 3 disciplines: virtue, tranquility and wisdom. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Day by day, we should try to go forward by practicing these 3 things in our day-to-day life. That is our success. Finally, as I mentioned before, our success depends on mindfulness and wisdom. Mindfulness means GPA. Wisdom means IQ. In educational field always it is encouraged to develop our GPA and IQ. Buddhism also has explained the GPA. Buddhist GPA is living at the present moment, mindfulness. Buddhism also has recommended the IQ. What is IQ? Seeing, arising and ceasing, the impermanence. Then day by day, let's try to go forward by practicing these valuable doctrines in our valuable life. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, everything that I discussed is here, and you can read it when you go home, and you can improve your knowledge. Actually, these things sometimes I have discussed before these things, but with attention, actually I discuss some teachings again and again for your more understanding. It is very important. Yes, David?
One question. I noticed it says sada means that the conscious is that similar to sadhu? Is that related? Or
Sadhu and saddha is difference. Sadhu has several means. One of them is, some ascetic people. Also we say sadhu. Munivaraya, muni. Sadhu, ascetic people. We say sadhu, sadhuvaraya. Like. Other means is sadhu means excellent, good. Sadhu. When somebody says something good things, we say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It means excellent. This saddha means confidence. What is the confidence? The confidence in Buddha's enlightenment, his teachings, and his noble disciples. As much as we practice Sila Samadhi Panya, gradually our confidence in the triple gem increases. Not only saddha or confidence, but our energy gradually increases, that we are courage to go forward. When we see the results, we want more results, then we go forward. On the other hand, we practice mindfulness. And not only mindfulness, as the result of mindfulness, we are clever to keep our mind with a particular object for a long time. Long period, long time. It is concentration or tranquility. And Buddha said, Samahito bhikkhave yatha bhutam pajanati. Who has concentrated his mind is ready to see the reality or impermanence or dependent origination. It means panya. This is our real treasure. This is the real property. This is the real dowry. These 5 things. These are the 5 spiritual faculties. Saddha, confidence, virya, energy, sati, mindfulness, samadhi, concentration or tranquility, panya, wisdom. All things are going to destroy or vanish or finish ended. Our physical body one day going to the earth. Our instruments that we use one day go to the earth. Our children also someday going to earth. Our educational qualifications also going there. And finally, these 5 things remain that we carry from birth to birth. When a Buddha meets a person, as soon as a Buddha meets a person, suddenly he reads that person's mind, that how far he has developed these 5 things in his previous life. The only thing that a Buddha sees from a person, Buddha doesn't see a person's caste, education, his richness. He doesn't care of other things. As soon as the Buddha meets a person, suddenly he reads that person's mind, how much he has developed these 5 things in his past lives, previous lives. Then he understands that person's wisdom, and then he is ready to explain what he knows. That is why this is our real dowry, treasure, property or wealth. This is our wealth. That is why we have to increase these 5 things little by little, especially by practicing samatha and vipassana, concentration and insight meditation. For that, first of all, we may have clear discipline, good discipline in our speech and behavior. It is very useful to achieve concentration and wisdom. Okay, thank you so much for your participation, your good attention. And now we are going to transfer these merits that we accumulated at the moment to our departed beloved relatives, and that who may receive this medicine, who wish this merit, and they may receive this merit. By the power of these merits, may they achieve good life, and finally may our departed relatives attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our beloved departed relatives by reciting Pali stanza. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. May, by receiving these merits, they increase their better life, and also may they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits, guardian deities and angels too. Ettavata jayammehi sambhadang punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata jammehi sambhatang punya sampadam. Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata jammehi sambhatang punya sampadam. Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. By observing 5 precepts, by worshipping Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, by listening to what Buddha taught, with all these, by all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no problems come to you. May all your righteous wishes meet with success. May all of you attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkha, bhayam pantā ca nibhaya, sokam pantā ca nissoka, hantu sambe pipanino. May the Triple Gem bless you.